Next up, King Rastakhan. For over 200 years, King Rastakhan has ruled the Dazar'alor Empire. Since the fall of Razan, he has turned to a new patron, Bwomsamdi, the Loa of Death. The Dark Bargain he has made grant him the power to crush his enemies, but at what cost? So, the baseline, so I don't think this changes for Mythic. No, it doesn't say anything different for the overview. King Rastakhan calls upon his retinue of bodyguards to defend him and his throne room, aka tons of ads. After Rastakhan's bodyguards have been dispatched, Rastakhan calls upon his Loa Bwomsamdi to come and aid him. When Rastakhan reaches 60% health, he demands that Bwomsamdi empowers him, causing Bwomsamdi to transfer a portion of his death power into Rastakhan. After the transfer, Bwomsamdi shifts both into the death realm, pulling half of the party with him. And once Bwomsamdi is taken to 50%, he abandons Rastakhan and teleports all players in the death realm to the realm of the living to finish the fight with Rastakhan. Okay. However, it is a 4-phase fight. And
3.5.
3.5. Okay.
Like 3.5.
But specifically, this fight, I feel. Hold on. I wanted to look at the main part that is the mythic ad.
There is none.
It's not. It's just all
three. It's all three at the same time. There's nothing changes for mythic at all on this fight.
Well, what I'm wondering, is there like a Manaroth style, or it doesn't change at all?
Nope.
It's just harder. Same thing.
Just probably more damage. That's it. That's my guess.
I thought the Bwomsamdi form of Rastakhan was mythic only, but I guess not.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Who wants to break the rest of the stuff down?
Ducky, you haven't done one. Do you want to do one?
Have fun. If you'd like me to, I'll read it.
Yeah.
I'm just watching the video. Let me pause this.
Yeah.
Can you just read what you have written here in the note?
Yeah, exactly. That's the easiest way to do it.
Well, it's all just like it's a madness ad fight from what I watched.
Not at all.
Ends.
Like
No,
literally not at all.
Oh, really? It's not.
No. Do you want me to give you like a TLDR of the fight?
Yeah, because it looks like any of these 4-phase fights are always like there's tons of crap, but it's probably just the same thing as Conclave, where it's not really.
Yeah, this one's not.
Blow the shit out of the ads. Blow the shit up out of the ads in the first phase. Like first phase is like realistically like 20 to 30% life is how it is, but like they all share health, and even Rastakhan's health won't go down, but any damage that you do to him is going into the ads as well.
Okay.
So literally you just pump, but then all the ads die, and then the real fight begins from there.
Bind souls. Bind Rastakhan's soul to his allies, absorbing all damage taken and transferring it evenly amongst them. So they're all spirit link.
Anyway, go ahead, Ducky. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're good. As he said, all the damage is dumped in, but Scorching Detonation, tanks, channel 5 seconds on a tank, stealing 75k each second. Last tick will explode for 175k to everyone. Explosion damage reduced by the distance from the tank. So we'll move the tank away. Alright.
Yeah, distance from Rastakhan.
Oh, from the boss. Okay.
Yeah.
Plague of Toads, unleash swarm of toads that jump around, leaving poison pools. Touching a toad explodes, 21-second dot. 40k a second, right?
Yep.
Stacks, standing in pools. Is that another dot or just the pool?
That's the pool. So
and then
poison
Greater
toad slime
Serpent Totem. I've seen these. These seem pretty cool.
It's a little bit of Nazebo. Yeah, exactly.
The Greater Serpent Totem summons a totem that casts Serpent Breath, which is like a giant flame cone, it looks like. Maybe not flame, poison. 82 damage instant, 14k dots for 5 seconds.
Is that like a telegraph we can avoid?
You have to kill it. We have to swap to it, but yeah, I believe it'll be telegraphed.
Fair enough.
It's the big snake totems from the original like Shadow Hunters.
Yeah.
The Dazar'alor Honor Guard. These are the ones that he shares the health with.
Yes.
Prelate Zalon. Seal of Purification, a beam that follows a player leaving a trail of fire. Leave 33k damage when standing in it, so they'll be kiting that away. Siegebreaker Roka, a meteor leaps to a location, dealing 1 million damage split in 8 yards. Cast Crushing Leap on arrival. Crushing Leap leaps back to the tank, dealing 43k in 8 yards, not split. Applies Crush. This will be a tank swap. 500% more damage for the next leap.
So you tank swap the ad. Okay.
Yeah, just for
And Rastakhan.
And
basically.
Rastakhan. So you swap between the two of them. Okay. Okay.
Headhunter Golwana. Grievous Axe throws 3 axe at random players. 110k initial damage plus a dot for 43k a second till healed above 90%. So maybe something for cooldowns like personals.
Are all of the honor guard are also coming in too at the same time, right? So there's honor guard and these
Nope,
three.
There's just one. It's one each.
Oh, it's just
Yeah.
one each. Yeah, right.
They're just the 3 name mobs.
No,
Yeah,
but
it's just-
then the honor guards. Are this a different phase? I thought there was other ads. That's what I'm wondering.
No,
No, there's no honor guard at all.
those 3
There's a
are
model
actually
for 'em,
from the start.
But there isn't any of them.
Huh. Yeah, weird. That's what I was wondering about these. Are they all... Is the Prelate and the Headhunter also tanked, or they just kind of hang out?
Yeah, they're tanked. They in this video they pull all 3 of them to behind the pillar together. So
Ah.
they're standing
Basically-
at the bottom of the stairs, and Rastakhan's at the top of the stairs. So they pull all of them to that pillar.
Nice LOS then. Okay.
Yeah. Stage 2, Bonsondi's Pact. Take Bonsondi far away. Rastakhan's active at this point, I guess. New abilities. Scorching Detonation, same thing. Plague of Toads. Zombie Dust Totem. Mind controls up to 2 players till totem is destroyed. There's a lot of mind control in this. Right.
So here's the first thing that I was wondering about this fight. If they're going to break Tremor Totem and let Shamans not break the mind control.
That'd be something to test on Heroic.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
put
that'd be
that as a
awesome
note
if it
for
is.
us for sure, yeah. Because it breaks Charm. So if that is the same type, then we'll have to see. But I know they broke the interaction with Mithrax with that. Obviously, we can still use it on the Fear, on like Azul and Gahoon, but that's just a Fear. So we'll have to see if this breaks the totem. What I wonder though is if it breaks it, will they just get remind controlled afterwards? So it's something definitely to test.
Yeah. Don't know. You think they would think those things out, but you never know. Voodoo Doll. Summons Doll. The bonds of the player will copy 100% of the damage the totem takes to the player. So we don't want to burst these things down. I wonder how much health those have. I'll have to watch.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. And then Bonsondi's active during this as well, so we'll have 2 people up, 2 targets. He uses...
Kind of. You'll see.
Yeah,
why.
I mean, he's more immune-ish, isn't he?
Yeah, he's completely immune.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Unliving absorbs all damage. Yeah, there we go. Aura of Death applies Deathly Withering to all in 30-yard range. Deathly Withering is 2k damage every 3 seconds.
Is it, wait, is it... Do you have Heroic? Oh, you have Heroic toggled. I have Mythic toggled. It's actually interesting. So the Aura of Death in Heroic is only 30 yards. It's 45 yards in Mythic, so you can't outrange it. But you can outrange it in Heroic.
You just have healers dance in and out of it is what you do.
Hmm.
So you run your one tank super far away and you just have a rotation of healers dance in and out of it.
So that's a small adjustment
Or I
there.
could just be my boomkin, or I could just be like a balanced druid with a 45-yard range. Or a wrestle druid with 45-yard range.
Right.
Oh, the
Balance
Affinity?
affinity. Yep.
Caress of Death deals 75k damage to tank and absorb all healing. Okay, so
Tank
is that
swap.
clause?
Yeah, it's basically a tank swap.
Let's bind tank to the Death Realm. So it sends the tank there in this stage too.
That's the thing. I never saw them going to the death realm ever. There's a lot
During
of weird,
this phase, you mean?
Yeah, like when I was like looking at the fight and like the dungeon journal and the shit, like a lot of the stuff just doesn't make sense. sense because they can't go to the Death Realm yet in this
Right.
phase.
Maybe
Unless I think what that may mean is like that tank will be then going to the Death Realm in the next phase. I think that's what that means.
It marks it so you know which tank goes down.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
I think that's what that means.
But only works for 8 seconds, and you have to tank swap, or maybe it only happens once. We'll have to see.
I think it may only happen once, but even then, like, you're just kind of like, yeah.
Just kind of like, yeah. What's
maybe
the?
like phases them out. I don't know.
Well, because the same. Well, because the same thing reads with Death's Door, embeds a fragment from the Death Realm in the target. So.
Yeah, but so what this was doing is this was spawning like a little void door, basically, is what it does.
Yeah, it makes
And
a Death
void
Rift.
door, you can't go in it, but things will come out of it. Specifically, like certain abilities will come like flying out of it, and also that's how you will clear your stacks when you're in the Death Realm. Because the Bonsomity buff that he gives, the I believe it's the Aura of, not the Aura of Death.
Deadly Withering.
No. Sorry, no, it's Dread Reaping.
Shards from the Realm of Death unleash ripples of death energy, inflicting shadow damage while in the area. That doesn't look like it.
I believe it's the Aura of Death ability that stacks on you.
Yeah, looks like it's just his aura. Yeah.
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 So because like that, he keeps the Aura of Death when he goes into the Death Realm, which happens in phase 3. But you'll be in range of that because you have to kill Bonsomity, right?
I bring it
But
down enough
that's-
so he leaves. So the Death Rift then is a trigger point to clear all the stacks. It says
Yeah,
clear
but
stacks of Deathly Withering, but that must be what maybe the Aura of Death is called that?
So Aura of Death says to all enemies within 45 yards, Deathly Withering inflicts this. It applies Deathly Withering. is what it does. And then each time you clear your stacks, it's going to burst the entire raid for X amount of damage, right?
It's basically the second boss in Toon.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to control who goes in and out at the same times.
Right, okay.
Well, actually, you stay in the Death Realm the entire time. You're just controlling who clears your buffs. Is all you're doing.
I mean, 20,000 damage even on Mythic isn't that bad per person to person. It's just that you don't do the entire realm at the same time.
Yeah.
Because after a certain point, how many stacks? Because it's not even a big dot either. Depends on how.
Or are you saying you don't do the entire realm at the same time?
Well, no, I'm saying you can't. Like, you're not going to want to clear. Do you clear everyone's?
Oh no.
Aura
You
at the
do like
same
a
time?
staggered. You do like a staggered thing, or you do 2 at a time type thing. That's what I
Because
would do. probably
every
2 at a time.
3 seconds, you'll get another stack of Deathly Withering, and every stack in Mythic is almost 5k every 3. So it would be 5k tick, 10k tick, 15k tick. Right, that's a pretty stiff dot after 30 seconds. So I wonder how fast you would have to clear that. And that's half the raid goes down. So
Yeah, half the raid.
Yeah, he splits it.
Continue, Sir Tacky.
Stage 3, this is where we go in the Death Realm.
Yes.
Bonsomdi's Boon infuses the king, giving him 2% more damage every 15 seconds, and that stacks up. Death's Door embeds a fragment in the target, dealing 33k a second for 8 seconds and creating a death rift on expiring.
the totem is
So that's
still
what you're
there
talking
too.
about.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the Death's Door is in both phase 2 and phase 3.
Yeah, it's basically just so what
Oh,
happens
it is in
is
phase 2?
Yeah.
Oh,
so he'll pick a target, and then you will eventually you put a dot on you, and then eventually you'll spawn like a rift zone on the ground.
Yep.
It's like a small little rift zone, and then what happens is in this phase specifically, there's a thing called maybe it's not into the last phase. Oh, it's called Dread Reaping, and it's like a little the the eyeball boss from Legion in the prison.
Yeah, what about it?
It's like one of the it looks like that, and it's traveling all over. Like there's a shit ton of them in the Death Realm, and if they hit a rift, they come out of the rift into the Living Realm. Is what happens.
Which would cause
Damage to the people in the
yeah.
Living Room. And if there's a whole bunch of rifts all over the place, shit's just gonna come flying out of there, right? Does that make sense?
And we're avoiding those going. So are you supposed to like, catch them in the face if you're in the Death Realm, or what?
No, you're supposed to avoid them in both realms, but it's the fact that they can come flying out of the Death Realm and you won't know it's coming.
Interesting.
Yeah, you gotta be ready for it.
Oh,
That's
that
why
also, but you can control where your Death Rift plops anyway.
Exactly.
After 8 seconds, so.
Exactly. So you want to put like all your Death Rifts in like one area, and then you put like a couple Death Rifts nearby where the entire Death Realm team is standing, so that they can just clear their stacks there.
Yeah.
And then everybody else does everything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's a few phantoms down that you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Different kinds. So, with the Retribution, Empowered Spirit goes to the Death Realm when killed, leaving behind a Death Rift. So these are in the normal realm normally.
So yeah, they start in the living realm, and then they go to the Death Realm when they die.
Little Gothic the
like
Harvester action.
Yeah, Gothic the Harvest. Or Desolate Host.
Yep.
What they cast Grave Bolt,
yeah.
It's just 44k. Seal of one zombie unleashes missiles that deal 110k in 4 yards that need to be soaked. Otherwise, one zombie wrath 95k to all enemies in 4 yards. So gotta catch those.
That's just melee. Make sure they're on the Phantom of Retribution, I guess, kind of, or stacked around it. Enough people. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, they go CC immune after 60 seconds, so we'll be able to.
So basically, I think you want to keep them CC'd as long as you can.
Rotate stuns, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or like polymorph meters work.
Well,
But
they'll be undead. So Shackle.
I'm pretty sure that this is phase 3 is a lost phase, by the way, because you're just trying to get out of it.
Yeah, you want to get him out of that.
Because he only does 40% of his health and he leaves, right? 40 or 50? Oh
no,
50,
you have to get one zombie to 50% life.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Cool.
Rage Phantom, empowered, same as all the Phantom ads. Pounds the ground, dealing 130k damage and reduces healing taken by 75% for 15 seconds. Leaves a zone of shadow corrosion.
What's the range of Necrotic Smash?
Maybe 8 seconds. Dazar'alor says 8 now, but I mean,
well,
down 15 by
that's the duration. What's the range on it though? Not of range to notion. Yeah, it just says pounds the ground, inflicting shadow damage.
Dazar'alor's great for this boss, by the way. It's not.
Well, this might be a raid wide.
Yeah, it might be raid wide. Maybe raid wide for the downstairs.
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know that it could be raid wide. 130k damage. I mean, that's a lot, but I mean, it could be. Where
do you think 130k? The mythic, the Dazar'alor says 107. That might be that's your stats messing with it. Yeah.
Things have updated on that shit. No, he's reading the thing. I wrote it down as 130k.
Yeah.
Okay. Read somewhere else.
Shadow Corrosion, 20k plus healing reduced by 75 when in. So that's when you stand in the zone they create.
Yeah, definitely not doing that.
No.
Good, please don't.
And
I'll be sad.
The Slaughter Phantom, 44k damage, Grave Bolt, Focus Demise, 5-second channel on a player, deals 22k every 0.5 seconds, only interruptible by the person being channeled on.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Personal accountability.
We'll see who's been interrupting now.
Yeah, only the target can interrupt this channel. Oh man.
I like that though.
Well, that's.
Unless you're a boomkin.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
you just gotta be smart about it. Just don't willy-nilly interrupt shit.
Or you just throw an extra on somebody, etc., etc.
That's interesting, though, to make sure you can interrupt your own Focus Demise.
Is there other things to interrupt?
That's what I'm looking.
No, not really.
There's nothing else to interrupt, so you shouldn't be interrupting.
The Grave Bolts look like they're auto attacks, so yeah.
Yeah.
So you just fucking, don't accidentally hit your solar.
My issue with things that say to interrupt them, it doesn't have the interrupt symbol on this, so what I imagine is that probably everything will work, because remember, sometimes silences don't actually interrupt raid mobs.
Yeah.
So
Mine's a blanket. So.
my only thing is I couldn't find a video with like a living team when all these spawned, or if they spawn individually, or if they all spawn at the exact same time. Like I just couldn't. I didn't find anything with the phantoms and how they spawned. I saw them die in a video. Like the last one died, but that was it.
They're not all up at the same time, or
I have no
That's
idea.
what I'm trying to figure out.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm browsing through this video right now looking for.
I'm assuming they're all up at the same time. It's just like you have to get somebody who stays in the living room to see how they go. But also, if they were dying in the living room, I never saw them come to the death realm either.
Right.
So I don't know if that's been a recent change or not.
One POV. Alright, Death's Rift links death and living room together. Using the rift while in the death realm will clear all stacks of deathly withering, but triggers a withering burst in the living room.
yeah, that's the
I don't know if it goes in the living realm or the death realm, because it doesn't say either.
Also, any dread reaping that touches a rift will be transferred. That's what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So that sounds like the hectic spot we want to get out of.
Yeah, you just want to get the fuck out of that phase.
Are we gonna have to have 2 lusts like they did on the one boss in Tome?
Maybe you may just like
One
lust
up,
before
one
you
down.
go.
well, but it looks.
yes.
How do we know who gets sucked down?
Oh, that'd be shitty if that's the case.
It also may just be like, okay, the boss is at 61% lust,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that's fair too.
Yeah, that'll be a thing we have to figure out with the spacing of it. I'm reading the Plague of Fire thing here too. Is that he fires it at us?
So what it is, it's basically, it'll go on like 3 people, and then
Okay.
they'll have a circle around them. And if that thing lands on you when you're nearby allies, that'll then spread to them. And then keep spreading and spreading and spreading unless you are
So you
by
still-
yourself and nobody else hits it. Like, it's hard spread. That's it.
Yeah, 7-yard
You-
hard spread. Yeah.
Yeah, the video like really, really shows that mechanic off quite well. And how
Now
much you just need to like consistently stay spread.
I'm looking at his room too. These are little things that I always look at. And you brought up Reliquary of Souls, that kind of garbage from last expansion.
Yeah.
Is his room just we're existing in the same space? We're just phased from each other, kind of like ROS,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
There's no different anything. It's not like Arthas where you actually were teleported to a different room.
Yeah,
We're in the
exactly.
same room with the same architecture. We're just phased, living and dead. Okay. So the same room
And we don't have
layout.
to worry about dissonance.
Oh, stop. Don't. Ugh. What a fun mechanic that was. Okay. That's all I was curious about, how the architecture in the room was laid out. It's the same.
Stage 4 looks like a new tank mechanic, the Caress of Death. Caster binds the death realm to his target, inflicting 72k shadow damage and absorbing all healing taken for 8 seconds.
That's everything with Bumsamdi actually in here. It's every phase when he's active.
Oh, okay.
But that's the weird part. Why does I guess just Rastakhan has it now?
Yeah, because it's just Rastakhan in the phase 4.
Yeah, so
Right.
in
Yeah,
phase
you've
4,
already beat that one.
Bomb basically he's this peace, I ain't helping, he sits on the throne. He literally just sits on the throne and watches.
Yeah.
Great Loa, by the way, 10 out of 10.
And
Wants to
then-
kill Sylvanas really bad.
I would too, House. But that's a different video.
And then there's the Plague of Toad still, the Plague of Fire.
Well, he gets Plague of Fire then. He
Right.
gets Bumsamdi's ability, so we have both Toads and Fire Plague. Okay.
Yeah, but it looks like we
Uh,
lose totems. and stuff,
Totem
'cause
is
I'm not seeing
gone.
any in this video. The zombie totems are still here. I think those are persistent the rest of the fight. Because in the video I'm looking at, they're just killable, and he's at 18%. So
Yeah, that's weird. They're not in the phase 4 breakdown.
Actually,
So
Plague of Fire shows that it's under. Plague of Fire is a Rastakhan only ability. It's not one zombie ability. even though it is under Bomb Somdi in stage 3 on the
So
Dungeon
he
Journal.
doesn't have that.
Yeah, because it says King Rastakhan.
It does say
which is
King Rastakhan. You're totally right. I was, you know.
Okay,
I know,
so
I know. It's
well, we
great.
didn't cover that one. So, King Rastakhan launches a barrage of fire, inflicting 50k fire damage and imbuing the target with fire for 1.3 seconds. When this expires, the target will launch a barrage of fire at their allies within 7 yards. This barrage will continue to spread as long as it hits someone. So,
Yeah, this was the thing about hard spread, but
yeah.
Mhm.
We didn't go over it earlier. So.
if we
then-
does he have that in the other phase then too?
It looks like
phase
phase
3 and
2.
phase 4 only.
It says phase 2 in the dungeon.
It says
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
it's-
never mind. So it's 2, 3, 4.
It's just straight up King Rastakhan. Something to
Yeah,
add to
2,
his
3, and
arsenal.
4. Once the ad phase is done, okay.
So I don't see a point when we need to stack. I think we're going to be spread a lot this
At
fight.
the start,
Well, yeah,
with
but I
the
mean,
ads, yeah,
phase
but-
2 forward, I meant.
you want to stack. Yeah, basically for the smash is basically it.
Because you have to dodge because there's both fire and toads, and those are both watch your feet and be away from your friends. So
But otherwise, yeah, it's basically a spread fight.
okay,
What health does this phase start at? Phase 4.
Whenever you get
so
one zombie to 50, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it goes kill the 3 ads, then it goes get one zombie to get Rastakhan to 60%, then it get one zombie to 50%, and then it's kill Rastakhan.
Can we load up a phase with people?
that's what I'm
like,
wondering.
No, 'cause
Yeah,
it splits the raid completely in half.
That we can't send people back and forth. Right?
No, we can't.
Yeet. What if we fuck up a mechanic intentionally? To like
Uh,
have
well,
them send.
well, no, but I'm wondering.
One zombie just automatically pulls half the raid randomly.
Right, but people coming out of the death realm into the normal realm cause a dot.
I don't think you can come out.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that was an earlier iteration of the fight, and I think they scrapped that, honestly.
Oh, never mind that.
Oh. Never mind, I can't watch this video. It's the one where Bon Somni didn't even spawn. They got
That's
the kill
exactly how it'll
Rastakhan
work on
because
live,
They just did phase 2 all the way through. But he gets 2 more abilities. It says Bon Somni creates a zone of death around him and begins drawing all enemies to him. Entering the zone of death removes the soul from the player, killing them instantly. So I don't know if this is a.
That's looks like that's in
it's
the
10-yard
that's
range
in the
around the
death
boss.
phase. Yeah, inevitable end.
Yeah, it's in stage 4 as well too, I guess.
Yeah.
And then all-encompassing death. Rastakhan is overwhelmed by Bon Somni's boon and begins creating Death Rift around him.
So he just starts spawning death rifts all around, which means those shards that are in phase 3 are just gonna be flying out all over the place now.
Oof.
Oh wait, that's the one thing about this fight too, and the whole soft enrage mechanic is he gaining Bomsamdi's boon this entire time from phase 3 until dead.
Yeah.
The 15 or 2% stacking damage.
Yeah.
Or it may only be for phase 3 that he gets one zombie's boom.
Maybe because I mean it's 8% a minute, depending on how long the fight
That's
takes.
just another reason to lust.
Right.
Yeah, it's another reason just get the fuck into that phase as soon as possible.
It doesn't. The one thing about this style of fight, these room splitting fights, is that it all just comes down to if anything ever overlaps. Because for the most part, it feels kind of Manarothy. Back in the day when we did like the first phase of Manaroth, when the ads were up, and then it was just basically the same thing every single time.
Yeah, I'll tell you this straight up. I feel like this fight is 100% all ranged all day, every day. Because you can, if you're all ranged, you don't need to care about inevitable end where he pulls you in. You're more likely to be able to dodge shit coming out of rifts because you have more time to see it.
Right.
And then Plague of Toads is 3 toads that he'll target somebody, and then 3 toads will come out. You just dodge them. But the toads only go like, I think 30 yards or something like that, and they just like hop.
Yeah.
So my
Get your
opinion,
alley ready.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a very, very, and it's just like, because I think on all the videos I watched, the shards from phase 3, I don't think any of them were coming out, or the dread reapings. I don't think any of them are coming out of the rifts, like at all, ever.
Yeah, it's
Like, I
weird
didn't-
in
I
the
didn't
summary
see them at
page.
all.
The summary page says place death rifts in locations that will shield allies in the death realm from Dread Reaping. Shield allies.
So you can stand behind the rift, is what it means.
Right.
And then the rift will. So basically, so that way that they can just stand there and DPS, right? So you put the boss. So when somebody's in the middle of the room, right?
Yep.
And then you put the death rifts in between you and Bonsomdi, so then you can just stand there and like hit the boss basically, or you make like a small ass box, or like you make a small ass box of rifts, and then you just like stand in the middle of those rifts and just kind of like dance back and forth depending on like where things are coming from.
It sounds like you'd be able to sort of game it almost in the way that you'd split the room in half and you'd pull your death rifts between yourselves, like you make like a.
But stuff can come from
gutter.
behind
Right.
you too, right? Like, I think you want to make a box.
It just seems like it's a lot of directional abilities. It also is kind of that Coven feel where you have, you know, axes coming out and the tornadoes coming, or the shadow bolts and the blades and the fire pillar things. It just kind of feels like that to me.
My opinion, the ads in this fight are not that important.
Right.
Like, I don't think they have much impact at all.
The phantoms, yeah.
Yeah, like the ads in phase 1 definitely don't have much impact, I think. But
No.
even the phantoms, I don't even know if they were working properly, so I didn't see like anything about the phantoms like at all. But like, obviously the phantoms could be super fucking important, because if those start popping up in the death realm when you're trying to kill one zombie, that's like, oh shit. That's basically like, okay, we have 60 seconds now to kill one zombie before we get overwhelmed by these ads in the death phase.
Well, does he spawn more than one? Like the more than?
I think all three of them come back.
Right.
Or it's one time. I have no idea. Like, that's the thing. I couldn't find anything on it.
The information on this fight was kind of lacking.
It was extremely lacking, and the dungeon journal is just absolute shit.
Well, it's just full of all the details, but it doesn't really show us how the motion to motion will work. Yeah.
But like, you still like, I pull up one zombie and the plague of fire is underneath one zombie. Like, what? It's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be underneath Rastakhan, right? Like, but it's just how it is.
There's definitely a few things that are a little busted. Because the footage that I watched of this fight, it just looked like they stood around and they killed ads, and they just stood around and hit the boss. Like, nothing was going on, really, so...
Yeah, but it's because I think it was broken. Like, it
Right.
was just busted. But the zombie dust totem, like, if that's spawning when there's only 10 people in the living realm, and you only have, like, you have a lot less people to kill those things, like, that's gonna...
It has 1 million health, I think I put it in there.
Yeah, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, mind controls up to 2 enemies until destroyed. We only have 10 people, and one's a tank, and maybe 1 or 2 are healers, so...
2 will be healers, and etc, etc.
That's what I just wonder about, if Tremor Totem can break the charm.
Are they so strong if we can?
It would be. Like, we're going to have,
Shaman raid,
you know, we'll only really have 2 shaman in the raid at this current stage, so...
Yeah, we'll probably only, most likely. But yes,
Okay.
if Tremor Totem is strong.
I finally got a video of that shadow phase, but yeah, he's got like a big AoE around him where he sucks everybody in for that one spell.
You just turn around and run away from him? Like,
Okay,
it's
he
a...
just spawned one of the spirits by itself. Primal Rage.
Which
Not
video
at
are
the
you looking
same
at?
time.
Um,
Drop it in our chat.
yeah, let me drop it in here.
Or even put it in the Google Doc as well.
Well, I haven't watched it all to make sure it's decent enough for other people yet.
Oh, this is Henning's, yeah. This is one I have linked.
Okay.
Doc.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just checking out this shadow phase, trying to see
Yeah.
how it looked.
This is actually, this is a Fat Boss guild.
Oh, alright. Looks like they spawn with just under 3 mil health or something. It's
But
promising.
not all of them, one at a time kind of a deal?
Yeah, well, so far I've only seen one spawn. I've been watching it here.
Okay. Because that's what my initial thought was, that how many of them spawned, because there are 3 up on the pole. Are there all also 3? Yeah. Okay.
But like you'll notice if you're looking in the shadow, or did you guys skip to the shadow realm on this?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
So if you're on the shadow realm, you see how you don't see any of the shards moving around at all on the ground? Like they're non-existent.
Yeah.
So like that wasn't working whenever they did this. If that makes sense.
Just
Whereas
the shard going from one realm to the other.
Yeah,
Wasn't
like I
working.
don't see them flying around at all in the death realm, whereas the other one they were definitely flying around.
Yeah, this is still like 2 months ago plus. So.
And it looks like Death's Caress is a random person, by the way,
Yeah,
not
I've
actually a
seen
tank.
because it hits the Shadow Priest or whatever here.
Yeah.
Mage, whatever it is.
I mean, the totems are pretty easy to burn down, it seems like.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the toad hits someone, it despawns.
Yeah,
But the other...
like, does a fuck ton of
Yeah,
damage.
but their hop leaves the puddles.
Yes. Yeah.
So we just have some cooldown so we can
So that's when he
bring it into them
pulls...
intentionally.
Pardon me?
Like, I can just bubble and run into those or something.
Oh yeah,
I-
but honestly, the toads happen the entire fight. I don't think they're that important.
I'm not.
The
they
phase
literally happen
transition into the Death Realm is so... I don't know
Instant.
why... Well, it's... Blizzard used to do like these multi-zone fights to have a little bit more je ne sais quoi with them. Now it's just like the lighting in the room changes, but you're still in the exact same place. It's the exact same room. The only thing that's the same is that you
You're
you
purple
still
now.
see you're
So,
purple now, and you see those death
Purple.
gates.
So at 7:08, you'll see that there's these 2 things to soak on the ground. I have no idea what that is.
Let me see.
Oh, those green things?
Yeah,
I didn't either. I've seen those. I was like,
like
"The
it's
hell are
literally
those?"
like a fell ability, but I'm like, I don't know what that is, but they soak it.
Let me see.
Oh,
I'm getting-
Phantom, okay, so the Phantom of Retribution is definitely up at one point.
Oh gosh, yeah, those are definitely. Those have to be an old mechanic.
That's
It looks
Gorok.
like that's. Gosh, that's the first boss in
yeah.
Argus. It's quite literally the exact same thing. Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it's anything in here. That could very well be just a old mechanic. And this is PTR testing from October.
I wonder if that's the bolts you have to. I don't know though. Those aren't supposed to be in that.
Yeah, grave bolts are just a random chunk at an
No,
enemy.
those, the,
Oh, which one?
Okay, so
the
if you're
yeah,
watching
the
this-
Phantom of Retribution. Is that the seals of one zombie that if you don't
yeah,
soak
so
them, they
I
do the
think
big
I
damage?
think what they did is all 3 of them spawn in the living,
Oh.
and they try to
yeah,
kill
yeah.
them as slow as you're killing them, but you want to kill them slowly so that Death Realm doesn't have to really deal with it that long.
Because the Death Realm's
So-
the only one's doing the damage.
Yeah, because like you don't even see the murder one at all, but the rage one's still up. But maybe they only got the rage one. Like, there's so many questions here, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, you don't have. Are all the ads not up to begin with?
We don't know because
we're only getting this one point of view.
we only get the this is the only one POV.
Well, no. You go back to the beginning of the video, and there are ads up. There's the
Yeah, but we don't know
there's-
about the phantoms.
Right, oh, the
that we
phantom
know.
versions. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're not tied to the living realm or anything like that. They just kind of spawn.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know any guys in that guild? Bay?
Wish good.
Puff, cough.
Hey.
Preach.
I mean, I'll
Just shoot a message and be like, hey, how the fuck do the phantoms work?
well, the thing about what's weird is that, again, this is end of October testing. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we have
is
no idea,
this
right?
is this also heroic or mythic? I guess it doesn't matter because there's literally no difference.
Exactly.
It's just a
Oh, that's
harder
fun.
version of the same fight. This is actually the weird part because I wonder if they had changed stuff from the PTR enough because normally they don't do this. Heroic to
I just-
mythic normally has something, but this
I think this fight has just been so fucky and hard to build that they've kind of just like let's just do this.
because the only
I
thing
just
I'm
found a video with the shards in it. Those look gnarly.
Because
'Cause
wasn't there at one point like phasing back and forth between the living and the dead on this fight?
Wasn't the tank supposed to take it?
Yeah, like they're supposed to go like I'm pretty sure people are supposed to be like bouncing between the living and the death realm.
Yeah, you get the feel for that. It feels like you should.
Yeah, but you just half the raid goes and that's it, done.
The only thing that I noticed in the dungeon journal is just the aura of death being the 45 yard in mythic, which basically means you can never get away from it. And in heroic, you can kind of outrange it with a lot of your ranged. So only it's like a melee mechanic.
It looks like I don't even know if you need a tank in that phase because it looks like when zombie is just like
casting.
He just casts Caress of Death and like that's it, and the healers just can't heal those people for 8 seconds. Like you just deal with it.
See, those totems are mind controls too. I wonder if people with mind control are gonna do fucky shit like bop the boss and stuff again.
I hope not.
So you just hex them right away or CC
they have to get CC'd while we burn down the totems.
Yep.
They die pretty quick. I mean, they're like a sub 8 second.
Yeah.
They're not that bad. And again,
but when you have less people, that's 16 seconds then, right? Yeah, it looks like when zombie's not even tanked at all in the death realm.
I don't understand the amount of death gates because the shard thing you said isn't working, so we can't tell. There's so much just turreting in this video.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I found one where the shards were working. It's like not a very good video, but it was a heroic one. I just wanted to see what they look like.
And they're everywhere, hey?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. They're just like black shadows moving across the ground. So.
But the mechanic of those is that when you're upstairs in the 4th phase, you just avoid them, right? You just...
Yeah.
Just don't stand in them.
But you like if you get to the end of this video, you'll see how many shard rifts are up.
Yeah, I know. I see there's a bajillion.
Yeah.
I mean, on this screen right now, there's 4, 8, 9, 10, 16, 17, 19, 20. I mean, there's like probably 30 death gates up.
So imagine shit just constantly coming out of there, right?
But they still... That's a weird mechanic because they...
Like you can bait where they spawn, but when you get to the 4th phase, like once Rastakhan just starts popping them up all over the place around himself.
Yeah, but it just says like what are the shards in the death realm, right? Like
you have to watch a video on it, and it's just like they're just like little shadow balls that move around the floor.
Okay.
But like this video, they're just not working at all, or they may not even have been in the boss then.
Right. Yeah. Could be it. It's just these questions always are weird from the PTR to the Dungeon Journal, but it doesn't look like it's just a weird fight mechanically because depending on how fast Somdi gets burned down, you might not even have to deal with 3 phantoms. So.
Exactly.
The hardest part, I don't know about it right now, is when they're both in the fight. That phase 2, when they're both up. When you've got Somdi and the aura, and you've got the mind controls, and the fire, and the double tank swap, and the toads. Like, phase 2 now sounds like there's a lot of nonsense. Mostly because the aura of death is just this...
Well, or like you literally just take one zombie, like one zombie goes to the far right side of the room, and King Rastakhan goes to the far left side of the room, and that's it.
Yeah,
and then I think you just have one tank
yards.
solo tank. So and then you have one tank solo tank in Rastakhan, and then when he starts channeling on him, he just like runs to the. Like if you look at the map, you'll see how there's like a green gem and a green gem on the left and the right.
Well, but whenever Somdi does his tank swap on that tank, he can't be healed for 8 seconds. It's gonna be a live through.
He may be able just to like live through that.
Maybe we'll have to see.
Because if he's just casting, right? But then the King Rastakhan's channel thing, like that person will just run to the throne. Is how I picture that happening.
Right. Because you can't hurt Somdi in phase 2. He just doesn't exist.
Yeah. You can only hurt him in the death realm, and that's it.
Yeah.
You cannot physically hurt him in the living.
This fight brings up a lot of the questions, kind of like Conclave, because Conclave just felt like there's a lot of crap happening, but
It's all worked out.
Is it difficult, or I don't know? Okay. I don't have any other questions about this. It just seems like the ads in phase 1 are weird. The ads in phase 3 are weird. So, all right. I don't know if you had anything else that you picked up or you see. The whole inevitable end thing where he sucks you in seems really easy.
Yeah, it doesn't even seem that difficult to get out of.
Is there any drawback to touching the doors in phase 4? The death gates?
I don't think so.
I don't think they do anything because there's no, you have no debuff to.
Well, if something comes flying out of it and you're right next to it, you're gonna get smashed in the face by 75k hit. Like that's about it.
That's not that bad.
I know. Like I honestly, I feel like this fight wasn't ready for PTR.
Right. Because the Death Rift still has all that same text about it when like the debuff, but there's no Deathly Withering anymore. So, other than the fact that you get the dot that hits you 4 times over 8 seconds, then you plop out a Death Rift. So,
yeah,
this is that's so weird. I don't know why the mechanic is still spawning in that phase when there's no more Bwomsamdi involvement at all.
Especially considering the flavor text is he like abandons Rost. I can see like if he gives him his power or something, but he fucking bails on him.
Well, no, Rastakhan has a different form. I mean, actually, it's weird in the art that I make with my my key artist for my thumbnails, because of the original PTR Dungeon Journal stuff and the initial information that came out. There was 2 phases, and the other phase was the Bwomsamdi empowered Rastakhan model, where he's all like that Death Loa-y version, that palette swap of Rastakhan. I thought that was a mythic only mechanic, but now it just looks like that's just part of the fight, period. So, I don't know. I mean, I have 2 different versions of Rastakhan. I have the troll version, and then I have the Death Loa version. Yeah, I'll just use one for heroic, one for mythic, I guess. Yeah, but there's no need for it anymore. They're the same thing.
Well, like, yeah, he turns into Death Loa by the end of it, right?
So something.
Yeah, he gets overcharged with his power.
Yeah, because he's absorbing all the power.
Something definitely changed in the PTR. So something was definitely drawing boarded or just shelved, and they were like, meh, it's only the 6th boss, just whatever kind of a thing. They were trying for something neat for, obviously, Rastakhan, but...
I think what they were trying to do originally was trying to do, okay, Rastakhan is the Alliance end boss, and Jaina will be the Horde end boss, and then you'd rotate it, but instead they just like, let's just not do that. The dungeon goes 1 to 9, and that's it.
Right.
Instead of versus like the other direction where it was like, because I think that's what they were trying to do.
There's definitely a numerical problem with Rastakhan, because it's one of another fight you're splitting your raid. That's a huge theme in this whole raid, where you've got splits. I mean, Opulence you split, Rastakhan you split, Stormwall Blockade you split. So clearly 3 of the 9 bosses are all split raid encounters, and that always comes down to DPS pacing. Because what Slew was saying earlier is that yes, you want to burst Bwomsamdi as fast as you can at 50%, so he leaves and buggers off, but the lower you get Rastakhan. The lower you get Rastakhan before Bwomsamdi leaves, the less phase 4 you have. And if phase 4 is any type of like soft and ragey thing, that's why I was asking about his aura still stacking, that Bwomsamdi's boon.
Yeah.
But it looks like that's only when you're in the downstairs. That's why you want to get up as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And then it just goes away? He just doesn't keep it? Or does he keep his 2%?
Well, I think he keeps his buff, but he's just being like, it's too much power for him, and his body just can't handle it anymore.
Well, I meant like the actual numerical. Does he keep getting 2% every 15 seconds? Or does he keep whatever he had by the time you switch out? Or does he lose the buff completely?
No idea.
Because that's... And the fact that it's random DPS that pulls down every time you transition him.
That's great. I love that.
Because that could that could very well be different cadence in how long it takes to push that phase. Which that's a neat little bit of RNG, right? Because you can adjust to that, but at the same time, that definitely means that your pull-to-pull cadence will be different every single pull. So that's the one thing that I'm wondering about in the numericals for him, because we could have some good pulls where we get like really good damage that goes down, like mostly range. They can just spread out and just blow the crap out of him. Or what if like almost all the melee gets sucked down? But
that's
there
why
might
I'm saying all ranged. As shitty as it is, but it's
we'll need at least one warrior and one demon hunter for the buffs, so don't get too far ahead of yourself.
Well, yeah, but that's all you need, right?
That's also the dumb thing, is that if your demon hunter is up and a lot of your range gets sucked down, they don't get the 5%.
Don't even
see what I mean? Like it's more of this garbage. So
we need 4 demon hunters.
So, but what I wonder if the phase transition entering the death realm is probably going to be triggered to grab X healers, X ranged, X melee. So that you could technically, if you had an even split, half of your even split goes down. But I could be totally wrong. It could just take 2 healers, 1 tank of the 2, and then, you know, in 7 DPS. Randomly assorted 7 DPS. It'll just take 7 DPS specs. But then if you have 4 healers, what if you have 5 healers for some reason? Or what if you 3 heal because you don't need to 4 heal, then 1 healer goes down and then you're screwed? Or 1 healer's up and then you're screwed, so you have to 2 heal? So little things like that are strange with these types of mechanics with a random pull. Unless, again, because the Caress of Death only works for the tank, right? Unless there's somewhere to game it. I don't know, somewhere to game it. That's just the one thing about that fight that makes me think. Everything else seems pretty straightforward. That's the biggest hiccup. We'll find out when the Day Raiders do it.
Yeah.
Right? He is the 6th boss, but... That is the 6th boss, but, yeah.
Hopefully we can get insights from her too before Mythic comes.
Exactly.
Well, it's the same. That's the weird thing too about it, is that it's the same fight. Well, that is King Rastakhan, for everything we can think about that we sort of boiled around to figuring out what the ads are about and how the dead versions are and why there is still a Rastari honor guard, but there are no honor guards in the fight anymore. I have no idea. The Blumsamdi mechanic has definitely changed, so I think a lot's going to be learned on live. I think they definitely scrapped part of this fight before it's coming on live, but that is King Rastakhan and Blumsamdi. Boss number 6.